Welcome back to the Paladins Summer Finals. It's time for our second set of the day and a second team to be completely out of the bracket.
Yep, this is everyone's first day that they are going to be actually going home. That was a great way to start off the day, though. I can't say I didn't expect to see that result there. Spacestation Gaming are going to move on in a couple of games. Wolfpack, kudos to them. This is their first time here at this event. They qualified last time, but weren't able to make it as a result of visa issues. Armada Esports, Clown Fiesta, I expect this one to be much closer.
And Clown Fiesta, there was a lot of talk about them coming in because the last-minute pickup of Umbi onto their roster.
Hell of a pickup.
So you have somebody who has a ring.
Yeah, you're picking up a world championship tank. I mean, what else can you ask for if you're Clown Fiesta, a guy that has a lot of experience? But the big thing, Gabby, is yesterday, talking with one of the admins that was actually in the room, that they were at each other's throats, basically.
Mm-hmm.
They were not happy with the way they were playing. They were not agreeing with each other. They were very, very just upset overall. That needs to change. There's no way they're going to beat Armada with a mentality like that.
Anyone who's been involved in the pro scene or even just been watching these broadcasts knows skill is one component, but communication and team synergy is a whole nother. And if you pick somebody up right before a LAN, regardless of who they are or experience, you still have some things that you have to work through.
I mean, if you ask a team like G2, right, they're going to say communication is probably more important than skill. Their communication is everything to them. Everyone is good at this event. There's no question that all these guys can play the game, but it's who can play it best as a five-man unit.
So with Clown Fiesta, as far as what they bring to the table with skill and everything, do you think they might be able to overcome that communication issue on the second day, or is something that is just going to take much longer?
It's something that needed to be put to bed last night at the hotel room. They needed to kind of sit together and sort of just figure it out, how they wanted to approach the game, but just someone on that team has to be a leader, has to step up. I don't know if it's going to be Umbi since he's kind of like the new guy in a way, but they need to be able to work together or there's absolutely no chance they're going to take down a team like Armada.
And Clown Fiesta are facing off against Armada, your CIS representatives, and let's take it to the pregame interview.
Here with Armada, you guys started off the week relatively well with a pretty convincing win in your first game. What felt like change between your first set and your second set yesterday?
Что типа поменялось между первым сетом и вторым, почему мы проиграли?
Но мы приобрели уверенность в своей игре и почувствовали, что мы можем побеждать в турнире и стали играть более уверенно.
Well, Fnatic were really hard opponents, and it didn't stop us from gaining more confidence in ourselves.
I have to say, you guys performed very well. Did you expect to come out in that first game and be up 2-0 over Fnatic?
Not really. No.
So looking forward to your matchup today, are you feeling confident, given your performance yesterday, that you can come out with another victory?
Вы уверены, что вы сегодня выиграете, или хотя бы?
Ну, этот матч будет очень тяжелым. Мы очень часто играли с этой командой. Покажем все, что мы можем.
We played really often with a team, screaming, because it's like one of the most good EU teams, so we can scream, and we will try our best, to show our performance.
And last thing for me, this is your second appearance here at LAN. Do you starting to feel a little more comfortable on the international scene, kind of being the powerhouse from Russia?
Как вы себя чувствуете на профессиональной сцене? Более уверенно или как?
Но мы теперь понимаем, что мы можем выигрывать некоторые игры и стали более серьезно относиться к этому делу, и мне кажется, мы можем побеждать.
Now we understand it's all about practice and staying as a team together. So, yeah, we're more confident about ourselves.
All right, guys, thank you so much, and good luck in your matches today.
Thank you.
Armada took a lot of people by surprise yesterday when they didn't take a game off of Fnatic, but they sure gave them a run for their money.
And I think just bringing them to that 4-3 on a map that, Fnatic's been playing lights out on for so long, like Jaguar Falls, to not only eventually lose that 4-3, but to start 2-0, it's really something to behold. They definitely just dominated that round. They may have gotten a little bit overextended at times in terms of how do I want to say this? It's kind of like they wanted to blow a lot of ultimates to get that 2-0. In the grand scheme of things, I don't think Fnatic were too worried about it. They may have spent too much for that 2-0, but I think in the grand scheme of what happened in that game, getting up in that 2-0 gives them a lot of confidence. The fact that, wow, look what we can do when we really kind of put our mind to it. And you just look at what they talked about in that interview, is that we need to stay together as a team. We need to know that it's all about practice. That's what we've learned. Clown Fiesta are new to this whole rodeo, so to speak. So Armada, they've been here before. They've learned from their first experience. They've taken their lumps, and I think now that they're ready, probably in my eyes, to be the favorite in this matchup.
The fact that they performed well on Jaguar Falls yesterday to get that early start makes sense that they would pick this map for their first map of this set as well to keep them in the race.
They will have first pick as well. Bands ready to come at you. They've looked so different, these drafts, from game to game, set to set, region to region, everyone prioritizing different things. And so you really do have to do your homework. You have to be prepared to play these teams from all across the globe, because you're never quite sure what they might go for. And if you're unprepared, then it's very easy to get caught off balance. Pretty standard bans here coming through, though, for Jaguar Falls. Drogos, Buck, the Khan, and the Makoa leaving notably open. The Furia, we'll have to see how highly these two teams prioritize it.
So Bomb King has been appearing, and obviously this map works really well for him. Do you think that that is the motivation between him being first pick here, or other teams have really left him more towards the bottom?
I think it's definitely with Drogos ban becomes one of the priority picks, if not the priority pick. Willow is still new enough where I don't think all of these teams from around the world have quite brought that into their fold yet. So if they can grab this early, this is such a great pair for really anything. You can get a Genos behind this Bomb King. You can get a Fernando in front of this Bomb King. We saw what FRZ God was able to do with some of those pretty juicy Furia heals. And with her still on the table, could be something that Armada goes for. Early prioritization of the front line, though, for Clown Fiesta leaves plenty on the table, right? Because they just, at this point, don't need to grab any front lines.
And Inara and Terminus, we saw that early prioritization combination from SSG yesterday, where picking it up, it made some other things left open a little too long.
Right.
Do you think right now they're just trying to secure that off the bat and make sure that their frontliners are strong and steady and not let too much known?
I think the Leon's good. I'm not a big fan of the Fernando here. No one's gone triple front yet, so I don't think you need to be grabbing that this early. The one caveat that Armada could be thinking is that if we take a Furia, right, they still have a Maldamba to juice these two frontliners back to full HP. If we take a Maldamba, they still have Furia. So whatever support that they end up taking, there is going to be a heavy throughput healer still available to Clown Fiesta. So that could be the only reason why that they feel that it's not necessarily to take a support at the moment.
And just feeling comfortable on whatever they are left with. It shows they don't need the Furia, they don't need the Maldamba. See what Clown Fiesta is going to
They
go
need
with.
something.
Yeah, it's going to be Maldamba and Willow, the next lock-ins for Clown Fiesta.
Outside of the Bomb King, it definitely feels as though Armada are doing okay, but for the most part, it feels like they are drafting reactively, so to speak here. They take this Fernando because I don't think we don't really need a frontline here, but we don't really want any of these supports. Let's maybe keep ourselves open, see what they're taking, and then we can make a very educated decision about what we want to round this combination out with. I got to say, I really like this so far. The Genos pairs so well with an off-tank like Ruckus, and of course Leon and Bomb King. Always happy to benefit from that 15% in-hand damage.
The Ruckus play we've seen is not frequent, but it's been great. From Burrito, from G2, having that supplementation, especially with the Genos who can just amplify him, has been a nice way to shred through the competition.
And I'll tell you what, this Terminus, unless he picks up a Crush, this Inara, unless she goes for something like a Treacherous Ground or is very on point with her cooldowns, it's going to be very hard for those two front lines from Clown Fiesta to provide any peel from this Ruckus that he's going to get his Astra Mark, he's going to get his bonus damage, and he is going to head straight to the back line like Sadak did yesterday on this map with this pick, and he's going to obliterate whoever he wants because no one can do anything to stop him.
So with that, our lock-ins are here for the draft. We're going to send it to game number 1, second set of the day, Armada versus Clown Fiesta.
Thanks, Gabby. It's Rain Day and High-Res Vox here.
Absolutely.
And we are playing on Jaguar Falls.
We're going about as full British as we possibly can.
With
here
your
today, Evan.
ascots on.
With the ascot tie on, as well as the accent in full. I'm already going away from books. I spend too much time in the company of Americans. My accent
much
shifts
ramen.
too much. The ramen as well, yeah. But Jag Falls, this is going to be an exciting one. It's a very non-Armada-y draft from what we've seen so far, but the thing that I'm concerned about is how much damage Clown Fiesta are lacking in right now. We've seen Willow perform very, very well so far, often top damaging, but in the face of a Ruckus, a Lian, a Bomb King, all boosted with Luminary, it's just a big deficit.
And also, you may not see, you know, something like this happen very often, where you see teams that from the east side of Europe and maybe from a little bit less of the east side of Europe competing for not the first time. I mean, a lot of these guys have been in those ESL days. They've been playing against one another before, you know, CIS was represented and separated due to the PGS. So there's going to be some familiar faces here. I think this is going to be a tighter match than some may assume.
So Armada, initial control of the objective, 36% and rising right now, and so far the kill's going pretty heavily their way as well. I like that K-Crunchy's kind of waiting for the respawns, but a bit too aggressive there, Evan. Gets caught out and sent back to base right there with Coriel cleaning them up.
Almost takes the presence as well. Vox, that would have been huge, 75%. And counting now for Armada, who have taken a nice early lead. Clown Fiesta trying to find their way back into the party, but their name's the only party here. They lose this first point.
I mean, Clown Fiesta going into that fight and that point, they just didn't really look like they had a plan. They kind of all corralled into the dark room, got split a little bit up. They were playing around the Terminus, which is a good thing to be able to do, but they split their attention in too many different directions and didn't have the target focus that you need when you're facing off against, you know, Fernando that's in your face, then all this damage coming from around you. You've got to be able to prioritize targets and take them down before they become a sizable threat.
And talking about Ruckus too, just jumping in and out of the meta, that's a thing Ruckus does. Obviously a little bit of momentum quelled there as Alex finds a kill on an Ineffable finally, which is really Armada's first full reset of this entire game. But Ruckus is just so good, like Nick mentioned on the desk, when paired with that Genos Luminary mark.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That damage increase is always beneficial there. You've got constant throughput healing, and also as a Ruckus with your emitter to save your health pool, occasionally you don't really rely on quite as much just general burst healing as other frontlines might do. Like maybe the Fernando that needs to be topped up when their shield is up, maybe the Inara that just needs that quick pocket to be able to go back up to full. But Armada have regrouped. They're looking to break the base again. 2 players still on streaks. And look at those mid-round buys as well. We've got a Cauterize 2 online already. Coriel going straight in, tries to find Bolka and gets them.
Problems here, and they find Bolka, like you mentioned, which is the healer, the one who's going to keep this fight going and keep the sustain. Unbelievable. And Alex trade out with a couple of kills, but it's Ovum, Ineffable, and of course they've gotten Alubka still firing away with the Star Splitter, but also healing them up with that Astral Touch, that mark that is so dangerous, adding that extra 15% damage.
50 seconds left to go. Payload almost through. Unbelievable does make it out to the objective again on this Terminus. Can store for a little while here. Here's the Willow Fayflight as well. King Bomb being channeled. That's a lot of damage coming onto Ineffable, but oh my goodness, look at that Excentra. Uses Seismic Crash to immune the damage and the crowd control.
Ineffable almost makes a big mistake there. Goes into the King Bomb, realizes it's off, and calls it off. Through time and space gives him a little bit of cover. Dread Serpent as well, making things a little bit more interesting as Bolka tries to stall out what could be a 2-0 push. Ovum looking low, but he finds a way to get out of there alive. He needs a heal, but Excentra is going to clean him up, Vox.
Coriel as well. Oh no, Armada get that push. Coriel was distracted, or distracting Alex right there. Wasn't able to focus damage onto the objective. So close. If they'd been able to focus that Ruckus down a couple of seconds earlier on, might have been able to stabilize there, but unable to. Beautiful disengage though by Alex to really kind of find that initial reset on this payload push.
And, you know, this is going to be interesting because, like I said, and like you know as well, you're one of the mainstays for the ESL commentating when we were doing that. These players know each other. It's not this kind of North America versus European style. It's very similar.
All the same, effectively ranked region. That's where a lot of these players are going to encounter each other more than anywhere else. But right now, as we get into the next phase, damage led by Armada. Unsurprising there. You know, K-Crunchy and Alex on the Willow and the Cassie are keeping up a little bit there. But look at this. Nalubka on a 14 streak right now. 0 deaths so far. Constantly alive, and this is really allowing them to get those passive credits stacking up, get a Chronos 2 online, start to look at Cauterize. Coriel, though, gets caught out here. Ruckus retreating very rapidly, and Alex is giving chase, but Echoes is there to meet him.
And this is really good. He's using the Power Siphon just to block off any incoming damage as Alex is making that flank.
Oh my goodness, Coriel got the kill, though.
But that's it, Coriel. I mean, the turnaround potential of a Ruckus, you pop that emitter, Vox, and things aren't the same as before.
Really, a couple of things happened there, Evan. It was one, the emitter shield came up, but also the presence of Lian for the side side of Armada
Sure.
just forced Alex back on Cassie. They weren't able to continue pressuring the Ruckus, and that's what allowed the turnaround to really occur right there. The lack of damage, just Umbi relying on that Massacre Axe alone, and now it's 66% and rising for Armada. Clown Fiesta can't find a way in. They got 31% with comeback, and that's just it.
That is a problem. With Tustagala, yeah, you got the tankiness, but you don't have the mobility. Void Grip up in the air. He slays him before he falls, but he's going to go back into, of course, the Terminus revive, and 96% and counting. Ineffable trying to make another big play. Ovim finds 2. That's a hell of a fireball, Vox.
Looking for a third one now, as well as Excentra is just being burned to a crisp. Through time and space, the icing on the cake doesn't hit anybody because they're already dead. This Flame Lance, this monster of a frontline player for Armada is doing serious work. And now with 3-0 in 6 minutes and 10 seconds, Evan, Armada are rolling through the defenses of Clown Fiesta.
And I mean, this is where you really tell the mettle of a team when you have a comeback mechanic situation, which in this game, when you're down by 2 points, allows you to capture the objective faster than if you're tied with your opponent. So really a big advantage to Clown Fiesta goes to waste there, and maybe just shows us that Armada are really here to play as far as the draft goes, and definitely on this first map, Jaguar Falls.
So, Clown Fiesta trying to set up on the high ground here, get a bit of stabilization going on through. Armada, if they die once on this push, have another advantage as they got the neutral 300 credits from Cap, can go for another mid-round buy, but with the rate they're pushing, look at this, Coriel pushing in, it doesn't look like they want to even consider that.
But he's such we call Ruckus, when Makoa's in, and oftentimes that's not the case because, he's Makoa, everybody bans him out, but we call him probably the worst hook bait possible. And Coriel just goes up there and offers his body for the sins of Armada and just says, let me just pull a Christ here and just make sure you guys can fight while I sacrifice myself. It doesn't work out, but he buys a lot of time. And in that situation, if Ineffable maybe finds one more bomb, if there's another little shift in the momentum, I think that is actually a really bad player and champion specifically for Clown Fiesta to focus on.
There we go then. Coming back, Armada have more kill potential here. Nalubka, by the way, 22 streak, 0 deaths.
Yikes.
Just want to shout that out real fast as well. Comparatively, Bulka, 0, 4, and 9, the support for Clown Fiesta right now. A bit of a disparity there, with Genos just having an easier time to stay alive on this Jaguar Falls map. Ovum puts a lot of pressure on. Crush goes up, but didn't break the shield. Ovum was able to stay alive for a second, but K-Crunchy will wipe him out, and that's enough for another reset here. You've no longer got the Immortal Evan.
Exactly.
You've not got that pushing power.
Listen, what you're buying time for is Ineffable to hit that 1 or 2 shots. He had Alex dead to rights. He just missed the 2 shots, and that's okay. Credit to Alex for dodging, being aware of his opportunity to stay alive and still do damage while avoiding Ineffable.
It's Master Riding 2 on Ovum right now. That death actually won't mean as much as it might otherwise be. 20 seconds left. Armada can group up here for another payload push. I'm expecting them to go for this perspective left side on push again. Maybe try and force out Umbi. If they can get Craig Currency off the high ground, as they have just done as well, this really opens up the opportunity. Coiril is looking for the angle to find 90% right now on the Hexafire, Evan.
I mean, is that the right use of a wall? It's going to drop right when they have to start pushing, and I think this puts Excentra in a bad spot, and that's a good stun, but the through time and space gives him a little bit of cover. Everyone looks at Ruckus, but Alex looks at 3 more. Looks like he's going to grab himself at least a double kill, and Nalubka will save, well, not the streak anymore, but at least his life for now, as Armada finally let go of a point to Clown Fiesta after round 2.
You see, I want to say good defense there, but more than anything, I feel like that was a bit of a sloppy push coming through from the side of Armada. They didn't have great target focus. We had Coiril jump in on the Ruckus and then just kind of blast away at Inara whilst you've got the Willow alive, whilst you've got the Cassie, Alex, who has been a real thorn in the side of Armada throughout a lot of this game so far.
Yeah.
And I want to see more focus this time around. Sure, Armada have had a great initial capture fight, but I want to see them definitely deal with Alex before they become a real monster. 10, 4, and 6 right now. Pretty much the saving grace for this team of Clown Fiesta. If anybody's going to hold it down, it's got to be the Cassie.
Necromantic Might and Devastation, 2 cards. You'll find a lot.
That's interesting,
especially in Tolki's loadout. Envy and Tolki like to run this one. He's actually had some incredible game-saving points just by getting that sustain. Getting those charges, the Calamity Blast back up quickly. 19% for Clown Fiesta Vox. And it seems like they're doing a little bit of a do-si-do here. Finally, Unbelievable spots out Coiril, and he's in a bad spot, but here's the Hexafire, and great positioning by Unbelievable. Just uses the jump to get in Power Siphon range and block all the damage.
The problem is there's been a double-double come through for Ineffable and Ovum. Whilst all that was happening, it was good positioning from Unbelievable just to stop that from really being an issue, but in the end, it kind of doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Everybody falls down anyway, and now it's 63% and rising for Armada. This could be the end of the game, Evan, as I mean, Ovum's just picking up double after double. This monster frontline player cannot be stopped.
And this man, he's so committed too. This is 2 lands after being kicked from Virtus Pro, or not allowed to go to Virtus Pro, kicked in a sense because he was the only member of his team that didn't get picked up.
That's a move.
Has now made 2 lands in a row and has taken games every single land he's been here. This is, telling me of the caliber of not only player, but leader Ovum is in this Armada squad.
And look at Clown Fiesta right now, a little bit bamboozled by what happened that game. They just couldn't find a way in that capture fight after they got reset. And part of that is positioning, part of that is just they weren't playing as a cohesive unit right there. I mean, the entire team of Armada was an absolute unit, but the rest of Clown Fiesta split up here and there, everybody dotted around different places in the map. When you're running a low DPS composition where you've got the Cassie and you've got the Willow online, you haven't got this constant trickle damage, especially coming through from your front line like the Armada had with the Fernando and the Ruckus. You've really got to spearhead your efforts all into one point and take players out one by one. Clown Fiesta, they've got to find a way to rectify that.
Well, a little bit of a party. It seems like Clown Fiesta aren't invited to Game 1. See if Game 2 bodes any better for them as we send it back to the desk.
Some pretty exclusive invitations there, I guess, for Clown Fiesta to be left out of it. But they're there for one point. In the end, though, it seemed to be some more of that, as Vox said, not being a unit, not really a collective.
Yeah, there wasn't too much. I felt that Clown Fiesta were just playing their composition. They had an incredible point comp with Terminus and Inara to be able to control and sort of direct the flow of traffic on Jaguar Falls, but I just didn't feel a lot of that was happening, and it's difficult to do, and it's not exactly clear who the favorite is. I've given my favoritism a little bit to Armada in this matchup. Usually the favorites are the ones that are playing that point composition, because anyone that's an underdog in a set is going to be a little bit timid, a little bit over-respectful at times of their enemies, and as a result of that, it becomes hard to just go stand on the point and make this big decisive play there. And I think a little bit of that comes in the nature of just this composition from Clown Fiesta. We never saw them take control. We never saw anyone really get walled off on the objective. And if you're going to draft something like that, you have to play to his strength.
And speaking of taking control, Ineffable on this Bomb King had no problem doing that.
Yeah, he was fragging pretty hard, and we talked about the combinations there, whether there's a Fernando in front of him or a Genos behind him. In this case, both. So he had a lot of weight on his shoulders, but I think he handled it beautifully. I think he brought a lot of damage to the table. So did Ekos on the Leon. There was really answers at any given time. They were synergizing very well. We saw a couple of Immortals to cover King Bombs and things like that. It wasn't the greatest execution of it, but the idea was there, and the idea is correct that they will have that synergy together, and they can pull off that combo, and they will be looking for opportunities to do so.
So we made note of the Ruckus going into this game. What did you think of that performance from Coriel?
It's a little I think it's a little he didn't do too much of Sadaking, where I'm just going to dive a squishy in the back line. We didn't see him a whole lot, didn't get a lot of screen time that game, so he, just a couple of moments there for me where I saw his Hexafire get stuffed by a Terminus. I saw him just running into an Inara's face, and that's not, I don't think, where Ruckus is most effective. He's most effective when you use him like Sadak was using him, where he's just sort of kind of off by himself, to be quite honest, because he is just the bulkiest 1v1 guy out there, except for maybe like a Buck. So looking for, cute little angles, trying to find a support, shaving off a pick here and there, I think is where he's most effective instead of running into other front lines.
And there were some times where he did offer that for the team, being able to distract Alex at one point so the rest of the team could focus on the objective. Things like that, where maybe it wasn't the most flashy and leaning into the Ruckus play as we're looking for, but still did the work for his team.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk about Alex for a second. That guy was, despite the loss, still looked pretty ice cold, which is not easy to do. You look at the support comparisons, there was like a 22 streak or something like that plus versus 0-4 and 10 for the enemy supports. When you were losing, when you were on the back foot, to still be able to be that guy a lot of times, knocking people off the map, knocking front lines, knocking Ovims off the map is not an easy thing to do. I thought Alex looked phenomenal on his Cassie despite the loss.
Well, Jaguar Falls is in the books, and we have another map to go to. Armada is currently up, which means that Clown Fiesta got to pick this one. Splitstone Quarry is where they choose to go.
So we want to be looking out for those Willows. Can be a little bit more impactful here. Willow, I think, is pretty difficult, actually, to pull off on Jaguar Falls. I think it can be effective on just about any map. I think Willow is better at countering certain compositions than she obviously has strengths on certain maps, but I think more often than not against comps you want to pick her against. Splitstone, it might be one of those exceptions where just due to the topography of the thing, it's so advantageous to have her on your side. Due to the popularity of Leon, however, and just the phenomenal, we've seen so many good Leons, we've seen Echoes, we've seen Ninim, guys that don't necessarily have that crazy reputation building themselves a name on that champion. And when you look at the way that she just counters out Willow so hard, it's definitely a balance you want to strike. Willow and Leon are the two characters I'm looking out for most in this draft.
Neither of them have been banned so far. There's still a spot open, so...
Yeah, there's been... I don't even know if I've seen a Willow ban, to be completely honest with you. I have seen a couple Leon bans.
There was at least one Willow ban.
Okay.
I know that much. So, but not very often, usually making it through.
Yeah.
Sometimes selected. Frequent enough where she's still...
She's just still so new. Not everyone, I don't think, has the confidence to run her. You obviously, you know, Fasheko loves the pick. Europe seems to love the pick a little bit more than North America did. I mean, I didn't see a ton of NA Willow coming out.
And I feel with the international teams, we've seen some of them pick her up, but not at the success rate that we've seen some of the other players.
Just go through the motions.
Yeah, everyone's just dabbling because they see it's something that's doing well, but it seems to be EU that's really took the opportunity to try and control that performance on their teams. But still one slot left for the bans. Buck again taken away, and it's going to be Makoa.
Yeah, same 4 bans here coming through. Clown Fiesta have the first pick. That's what's different this time around. Early on last game, it was heavy prioritization onto the Bomb King, the Inara, the Terminus, the front line for Clown Fiesta. And I guess, you know, when you think about it, that kind of makes sense. They have that World Championship front line. And so Clown Fiesta may be looking to play around Unbe, but they go for the Bomb King first this time.
It's also a way you get to pick it, you get to take it away from Armada. And that is something whenever you see a team pick up somebody of high caliber, a lot of times they will dictate drafts and everything around them to try and set them up in the best position as possible. It can be hard, though, even if you have a great front line that's controlling the objective and separating the team if you don't have the follow-up behind them.
Ooh. Not exactly standard. I would say pretty close to standard here would be sniper play on this map. It kind of depends on the teams, to be honest with you. Strix is going to come through for Armada. Inara will be taken away as well. And we know Unbe loves those point front lines, the Inaras, the Terminuses. And frankly, Terminus has, I don't think he's gotten a win this event. So if they force Clown Fiesta into a Terminus here, they'd be in an alright spot.
And he already just hasn't been picked a lot in general. And then the couple times he's picked up, doesn't do so well.
He's a hard character. He is just very hard. He's bringing a knife to a gunfight, so you have to be so careful. You have to know so much about when you're engaging on a situation. So, I mean, I give Unbe all the credit in the world. I think he is one of the players in this tournament that can pull it off. I think Phoenix pulls it off from time to time. I think you got guys like Hero and Elven Path that still run the Terminus. But with Willow afoot more often, it's definitely tough to do.
It's just too many that can punish you from overhead right now that are getting attention from enemy players where you automatically make yourself vulnerable to that, especially when you pick up early and show that hand. But it's Cassie and Genos for Clown Fiesta.
I gotta love it. I gotta love it here. Bomb King, Cassie, Genos. Such a strong combination and one that you can definitely lean on, I think. And why not, you know? They pick up Unbe, that's great. That's a World Championship tank right there. But, you know, you can't forget about those carries that got you here, that qualified you through the path. And now Clown Fiesta, I think, maybe looking to lean on Alex's Cassie again, which even despite the loss looked great. Armada will get the Willow and no direct hit scan threats on Clown Fiesta unless they want to go for a Leon plus a 1 tank here, which is doable. It's definitely doable.
They could go for it, especially you can rely on B for something like that.
You could see Fnatic picking up a Leon and like a Barrack in this situation here, and I think that would be okay.
Yeah, so on Armada, when you have Strix and Willow, you have the blaster potential and then that long shot. A lot on Inara and Maldama just for that survivability on the point, but how do you think Clown Fiesta are really going to make sure they focus down that backline?
It's going to be tough, right? In times past, it's the perfect pick for the point I want to make here. They pick up the Xin, which is all well and good, but the drastic just abstaining from Maeve at this point, I don't know if it's completely warranted, especially when you look at a map like Splitstone Quarry. When comparing Xin to Maeve, the mobility conversation is so staggeringly in favor of Maeve. that even despite Zin receiving, I would say, about equal-handed nerfs as Maeve lost 5% off Street Justice, just a couple percents off each of her very popular damage reduction loadout cards. I don't know if that warrants not picking it up, and we know Echo's loved. We said Echo's in his interview was saying that is my favorite character, and I think it would have been a decent pick here for them just because of the mobility, just because of the tank shred here, and they don't have anything else to really threaten the Strix as much as a Maeve would. You would like a Buck, but it's been banned out. There's only really other Andro if you're that type of dude, but Maeve I think would have been a great option here for them instead of Sin.
Clown Fiesta are one game away from complete defeat. Armada chance to push on through. So let's go ahead and hop into game number 2.
Clown Fiesta really kind of changing things up with the solo front line here, and I like the location of where this draft is going. I think Armada may be betting a little bit more here, especially on the sniper to be able to do a lot of work.
Right, the sniper, and in combination with that, the point denial that Maldamba, Nara, and Willow will provide means that they're going to have a very uncontested time on the objective.
Yeah.
So for me, I think the Clown Fiesta has a good opportunity here if they can send Bomb King and if they can send the Zin to the backline. Have them deal with the Strix, have them deal with the Willow, then dismantling the Inara by themselves will be a very easy choice. Looking at the talents coming out so far, everything is relatively standard. Royal Subjects notably here, I think it's a little bit better right now on the side of Splitstone where you're able to throw bombs up and still take people with damage, but looking at the amount of people that you have to kill, Chain Reaction would also provide a good amount of viability. I do like the fact that Coriel went into Slugshot though on the Ashe. That's going to provide some good poke potentially against members of Clown Fiesta as they try and go for the flank, but what a snipe.
And he forces everything. I mean, this is a whirl, this is a billow, and he hits another shot. There's no time wasted. This is what you want, just damage per second, I think, or per minute from your sniper to be high, always contributing to the fight because he can't stand on the objective. He can't be with you, Vox. Nalubka getting pressured out here by Umbi. That's a huge pickup from the front line, and the captain, leader of this team.
It's a really big play from Clown Fiesta so far, and they're starting to gain momentum. There we go. Alex takes down Ineffable as well, and Excentra just looking for more and more people here. It was a nice initial start from Armada, but they kind of were hanging back, and they were playing into this fidget spinner area, really, without getting much from it, without getting much capture either. And now Clown Fiesta, they're exceeding there. And Ovum Zinara has very limited ways to get back to the objective. Armada needs to make a big pick here. Maybe onto Alex, maybe onto K Crunchy, but they're looking in the wrong direction. This Bomb King is feasting right now. 2 kills go down, hopefully very quickly. K Crunchy almost does perish. But in the meantime, Ovum is back on the objective. I don't think they're going to last long.
Yeah, I don't think so either, Vox. It was actually a really good showcase of how reinforced casing is helping K Crunchy here. If you look at his loadout, he's going to be picking that up, and it's going to apply a 56% crowd control reduction. So Nalubka actually does the right thing, gets the stun off when he joins into the room, but it doesn't last long enough for him to get enough damage and turn the 1v1 around. And as a result, I think your healer dying 2 times in about 50, to 60 seconds of play, that's not going to do it.
It's a really tough gig to come back from. And now Clown Fiesta, they're trying to make space right here to be able to get this push going. Alex has used a bunch of cooldowns, 15 seconds left on Billow. He's going to have to wait for a second, but Excentra hits Scout. They want to look to see what all players are. Can't hit the spike because of that crowd control reduction. Or actually, was that a last-minute talent swap there from Ovum Zinara?
It might have been,
because it looked like Zin was crippled there.
It was.
We definitely saw Mother's Grace early on. Coriel, though, in the meantime, picks up 2. K Crunchy responds with a couple echoes, missing the snipe. Here is Big Evan.
And I'm not going to lie, it's a great choice, I think, because the Zen gets shut down mid-whirl or even before he's able to whirl with that
what's really tricky with that, though? With Zen, you can jump, and at the very height of your jump, you are able to billow whilst you're in that treacherous ground waters field. But you're stuck. You're kind of stuck there standing still and just pogoing up and down, which does make you a very accessible target still.
Totally. And Zen, he's got so much, and I think part of it is the way it all blends together. It's kind of like he's got the house, he's got the nice car, and he's got the nice watch, and he's a good-looking. It starts to be like, okay, well, yeah, I'll take him on a first date, no problem. But I think at this point, you look at Zen, he's got the billow, the whirl. When you take away one of those elements, it makes him have to play a lot safer, and Alex can't apply the same pressure. And Coriel says, you're not going to apply any pressure to me. I jump into the ultimate. He rallies here, and we'll buy some time and allow him to get healed up by Nalubka.
Well, questionable assert dominance there, as Coriel actually didn't receive a bunch of healing for a while, and it really only stopped them from being killed by Alex. A momentum shift enough for the time being for Armada to restabilize here, but as Alex goes down, they might have bought a few more seconds. Still not sure if it was worth the cooldown. I think that Armada might have been able to stabilize without actually using that there, Evan.
Yeah.
Although Clown Fiesta, they have used a bunch of their ults on cap and push so far. They're only just starting to come up again now. 33 seconds left to go. Spider's up and available. Cassie's scout will be up. That wants to really be safe for the next round, I think. I feel like Clown Fiesta aren't going to really commit much unless they can get a good neutral pick.
Yeah, and I think that's the right thing to do here. And, you know, reset, you had a good round, you applied the right pressure, and Umbi and Alex seem to be kind of doing whatever they want. There's not a lot of pressure on the Barrack. His shield and the bowling ball resets are really helping off. Alex is getting to the back line. I mean, only spurts of huge bursts of damage are really what's taking him down, and Ekaz now, as a result of paying so much attention, gets caught up by K Cruncy, and Armada are looking very close to going down 0-2 after taking game 1.
And now they can commit ultimates if they need to. They have the Dome Shield, they have through time and space. Down goes the Dome Shield. Here comes the Dread Serpent in response from Armada, but Unbelievable is still alive and safe. Ovum could be in some trouble here as well as they're brought down. Umbi finds 2. Armada looking for the conversion, Evan.
Umbi is just staying alive. Will this man go down? Not before he finds another point in the round, apparently. And they are going to take a 2-0 lead back-to-back, switching it up in terms of sending their fans a little bit of hope, some good juju about their chances of progressing into the next round.
What a remarkable turnaround from Clown Fiesta there, though, but also just being able to make that push without using their ultimates right until the very necessary point towards the end where it was just Dome Shield for conversion, and then that even forced a Dread Serpent there. In that situation, honestly, if Dome Shield's been used, I feel like Armada are better off actually saving the Dread Serpent, hold it in. You've got Inara, you've got Comeback Mechanic, you've got Maldamba. You just win the next capture objective as long as you can deal with this Xin. And Alex is doing some serious work right now. 4-2-2 on the slash line. Not really representative of the amount of distraction which they're bringing, forcing Echo's line of sight damage on this sniper away from the big squishy targets he wants to be hitting, and always being aware of this flank.
And what you keep seeing happening, or what happened last round, and Croty hits his head a little bit, but it was, you know, I think he was trying to get the distance, maybe just didn't get the distance the way he wanted, but Nalubka falls to the low ground again, and this is what I was going to say, Vox. Somehow he always goes from the high ground, starting out these fights to the low ground, and it just puts him susceptible to Unbi, to Cruncy, and of course, to Alex.
Also, I feel like that was a lot of hesitancy from Armada there. They brought this Bomb King down to half health, right? Ash is able to just shoulder bash into that and probably finish him off right there, but nothing really came on through, and was able to dart all the way around the map and take out Nalubka, so not a good look right now for Armada. Need to have a bit more confidence in their players' ability to deal damage here at 78%, Evan. They're trying to get back to the objective. 39% for Armada, but K Cruncy, Unbelievable, Excentra, all finding kills. Strix about to go down as well. K Cruncy is doing work on this Bomb King.
And this looks like just as clean of a match that Armada showed us last game on Jaguar Falls. You knew it was a Clown Fiesta pick here with the Splitstone Quarry, and they show up big with a Zen on Alex that, despite stat lines, is making the biggest difference. He's coming around from the flank side, Vox, and forcing all of the healers, and I think the damage dealer, Strix in particular, into bad spots.
You know, this is a big part of why I get what Strix brings, especially with unauthorized use to Splitstone Quarry with that big reveal, but I honestly prefer Kinessa on this map if you're not fighting a dual sniper battle where Strix has that innate stealth advantage because of her ability to traverse from low to high ground. Alex is just forcing Strix to jump off of that balcony, and then they're an easy target for the rest of the team to clean up. And look at this. Yomi strikes thrown out, dives on in looking for Echoes, just forcing them out of the way. Ineffable goes down, Evan. This is bad again.
Yeah, I mean, if they can get Ovum here, we're going to be talking about maybe game ending, but they end up losing Cruncy and Alex, and then I think that is going to allow Ovum to turn the tide back around. Fine, Excentra. There is still Unbelievable, who they are staggering back there, making sure to not kill him. Oh boy, he's just making sure to get the reset. No need. He's got a high, I believe, score line in terms of what's it called, streak, that he was trying to get rid of as well.
And as well, if we could take a quick look at the items, please. This is the second time in a row we're going to have mid-round buys coming through. No cauterized threes, a couple of master writings here, which might not bring as much value. K Cruncy, though, actually is on a cauterized 3 right now. That's pretty big for a Royal Subjects Bomb King, and a pretty heavy investment so far. Just base 1 into Nimble for Excentra and K Cruncy, looking to juke out some of the flares maybe coming through and escape the dead zone faster.
K Cruncy throws the Grumpy Bomb there, and now is seeking out Ekaz.
Oh, the Willow.
But he's getting pressured in multiple directions. It's going to be rough, but Alex is there to save the day. Cruncy finds a double, and it does look like this might be the one, Vox. No reinforced casing there from Maldamba. 36 seconds left, though, and it does seem like unless somebody makes a big play, it will still be a dead stall.
Well, what have we got in the way of ultimates right now? It's scouts coming up soon. Spite is available. Excentra finds Ovum though, and that's pretty big. Coiriel about to go down as well. Could be killed out by just a single slug from Unbelievable. And now it's Armada having to contest with Squishies. Not a good look as K-Crunchy is back and Bomb King's good at forcing players away. It's up to Ineffable. They've got to move in. They're the closest one here. Somebody's going to go in. Willow will perish for it, but Ovum is back on the objective. Now it's up to somebody else to find a kill here, but Alex has a double. Coiriel is back. Nice use of as well, just that deflect, that block to stop the damage coming through, to stop out shoulder bash. This could be the end of it.
Alex, oh my goodness, what great play here on the Zen. Alex bringing it in, and Clown Fiesta grab game number 2, and Umby's looking at him saying, hey guys, dude, that's all we do. We just
that's all we need to do.
Like, honestly, why did you guys
positioning
lose
was key this
last
game. All about positioning, all about the cohesion which this team had this time around. Alex doing such a good job of just distraction and manipulating the enemy's position, allowing the rest of the team to clean up. And as we've noticed, when K-Crunchy isn't being focused on this Bomb King this time around, comparatively to the Willow game which he had last time, doing a great deal of work. So that's what I want to see from Clown Fiesta moving forwards. I feel like that's their win condition is, can we make space for our Fraggers to do the thing? And if we can, then we might just have a good old chance.
And you know, we're going through the losers bracket, so if things start to work out this way, we're talking about maybe a rematch between the team that sent them here in the first place. We'll leave the desk to talk a little bit more about that. Break down game number 2, going the way of Clown Fiesta.
It sure was quite the flip-flop.
Yeah, absolutely was. You look at the picks switching around as well. Even though they get the Cassie back, Clown Fiesta don't put Alex on it. They put him on the Zin. So flexibility starting to prove worthy for this Clown Fiesta squad, as well as the Bomb King stepping up in a big, big way. That is clearly a warranted first pick for either side, and I expect to see it going forward.
Just right off the bat, there was a clear moment where it's about 3 kills that K-Crunchy had ended up getting that led to the security of that first objective, and then lots of moments like that to come afterwards, including there's a King Bomb where he immediately just was his own cleanup right after getting 2 kills and then turning towards a fight.
I mean, they had so many things to just scale well and pair well with Genos. This is the difference of them drafting yet another good composition, just like they had in game number 1, but this time they played to its strengths. And that's what we talked a little bit about going into this game, is that, you know, yes, we have a world champion point tank, but I think there's only so much a point tank can do to really shift the balance of a game. It really has to come down eventually to those carries to be able to do what they do.
And there was a moment where early on, Echoes was looking like he was having some sort of control over Alex, making him use a lot of his cooldowns early in those engagements, but then it didn't take long for Alex to be able to turn it around.
That was the biggest question, right? How do we deal with this? Strix Zin doesn't have really any vertical mobility. Bomb King can sort of get there, but like most of the caveats with Bomb King vertical mobility, it's going to be a little awkward. He has to get to this certain spot to get this angle to get up here. And you can do that, but I thought they did a phenomenal job at dealing with the Strix. And the Willow, again, it's really been a little bit lackluster. She, I think, does well against shutting down certain point compositions, right? But there is that caveat. I think she is just inherently a little bit more strong on split zone quarry, but not enough. You know, when you see her drafted with only 1 other DPS, at times we've said, man, this composition just looked like it doesn't have enough lethality. It doesn't have enough damage on the table. This Strix would have had to step up in a colossal way. We're talking Hecate level performance to be able to win that game on its own.
So perhaps these teams might just steer away from the Willow pick. Every time it's come through for either of them, it just doesn't really seem to be clicking.
Right, and you look at the Ashe pickup, which has been a decent look for this tournament. There's just nobody that I really liked it getting on, right? I like Ashe when I see it on like a Frog Isle, get onto a sniper. Somebody who can't run away. You've got a Bomb King, you've got a Zin, and you've got a Cassie. It's like Cassie can disengage you and then roll backwards and just create so much distance that, I don't know, there's no one I felt Ashe could get onto effectively and stick on. Or in this case with the Genos, right, you get on that Bomb King, he's going to be like, cool, I'm down to 1v1 literally anything in the game right now because I'm hitting for 1,035.
Even at times when Chrissy looked vulnerable, he would just say, I don't care.
Wasn't.
Yeah, he wasn't. He'd think, oh man, he looks like he's in some trouble. But then, nope, it was all fine. That means we're going to a game number 3, though. And Armada bring us to Bright Marsh.
I feel like is this the first of all the best of 3s that actually has gone to 3 games?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going the distance for the first time. Obviously, we went to 7 during the PPL finals, NV and G2, having one of the best sets of the week so far. Armada and Clown Fiesta shaping up to be a barn burner.
Clown Fiesta's been scrapping through because I believe their play-in match also went to game 5. in that. So they've been, whenever it's needed, go to the distance to keep themselves around.
So far, and granted it's a small sample size, but these 2 games have really shown us that these teams in particular aren't winning very well with these point compositions. These guys, I guess, like to just kill each other better than the other can. So I think that's the way both these teams need to look to draft at this point. Their backs are against the wall. They will go home if they do not win this map. Whether it's Clown Fiesta or Armada, we are saying goodbye to someone.
So maybe we will see just some really lethal drafts coming out. See who can get that Bomb King first and some of the other picks that they've both been prioritizing.
Now, we got to pay close attention to the ban phase here. And Clown Fiesta, all smiles today.
Yeah.
Communication looks like it's flowing, and that's a great thing. They have the benefit of course, coming off a win, whereas Armada are going to be not having the momentum this time around. But the bans have been the same, both Game 1 and Game 2. So if those change, that's looking where someone could maybe look to thrive in the chaos, so to speak. And the team with more experience, in this case Armada, I am usually favoring to come out on top of those particular scenarios.
So far, everything's looking the same as before, ban-wise. Drogos, Khan, which... and then the Buck as well, means if they keep with this trend, Mako will be taken away, unless Clown Fiesta wants to decide if we can't get something like the Bomb King, then you can't either. But nope, go with
Exact
tradition.
same 4 bans, all 3 games. Armada with the first pick this time around, and you would be hard-pressed to ask yourself, why not the King? And it will be yet again.
You might as well. It's worked before it can work again. And
if it ain't broke, literally don't fix it, because this is the way the draft has gone in every single game, except for the early Genos comes through for Clown Fiesta. In Game 1, when they were on this position, they picked up the Terminus. So now I think taking away the Genos cuts the legs out from the Bomb King a little bit. I think that makes the Fernando a little bit higher of a priority this time around. Fernando, Leon were the 2 picks that Armada went for on Jaguar Falls. And, you know, Bright Marsh is close enough, I think.
yeah, Bomb King, Leon, those are looking the same so far. The Genos taken by the opposition, so they'll have at least one thing different if they do decide to go for a similar comp. But Nando, also available. I can see them just locking into that right now, securing this front line.
And I think the Genos, obviously strong for the bonus damage, a little bit of healing as well, just makes that 1v1 a little bit, it just buys you that time, right? You're doing a little bit more damage, so you're killing them a little bit quicker. You're getting a little bit of healing, so you're staying alive a little bit longer, and you're meeting somewhere in the middle to come out on top of your duel. I think Furia can do the same thing. I think there was really a snapshotted moment in that Space Station gaming set where I saw FRZ God. He had 2 people bearing down on him. He had maybe 20% of his HP left, but then if Furia gets line of sight of him, and now he's back to basically full HP. And then from that point, he doesn't really need the bonus damage, Gabby, because he's gotten a second life. So I think if Armada are confident using Furia on this map, I think they could be in a good spot. But Clown Fiesta, with Xin Cassie coming through, that means there's going to be some pressure on Furia, and she is one of the more diveable supports in the game.
Yeah, who needs a good damage per second if you just have all the seconds in the world, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Keep extending it. But now, Xin secured, Cassie secured, Clown Fiesta all but one, and Armada now, they're still needing their support and then deciding exactly how aggressive they want to be with the remainder of their composition.
I mean, it's probably going to be Furia. You know, Maldamba hasn't had a great win rate this tournament, but that's a little bit beside the point. I think Furia is just a little bit stronger at doing what he does. Ruckus is going to come through as well. So this is looking like it, aside from the Genos, could be the same, it is the exact same composition that Armada won with in game number 1. They do go for the Maldamba over the Furia.
So maybe part of it is familiarity or wanting to...
I think in this instance, you got to give that support. You got to let him do what he wants to do, right? Because he was the one that was dealing with that pressure from that Xin. On Bright Mars, it's going to be that much easier, 2-3 times easier for the Xin to get to the backline, to get onto this support. And I think in that instance, I think Maldamba is better, right? He can just ult his feet. He can be his own hard peel. Furia has that little pyre strike to hit. And even if you hit it, you might not come out on top of that. So I think Maldamba does a little bit better when being dove on. He can slam the gourd down. He's got better self-sustain, better self-peel, and you know, it's a close toss-up, right? So at that point, I don't really care which way the support goes. I think that's really just up to Armada to make that decision.
So now Willow does get locked in for Clown Fiesta. Didn't work so well the first time, but still sticking with that for K-Cruncy. Well, it's game number 3. Only one team can come out on top. Let's find out which one that is.
Thanks, Gabby and Nick. It is time here, Rain Day and Vox, to take you through Game 3, which will send one team, Armada or Clown Fiesta, into the next round. Now, the biggest thing about this so far, Vox, is obviously trading blows. One win going to Armada first, and then Clown Fiesta taking the second game. On Bright Marsh, this is Armada's map. This is the one they always win.
It is, but how much is their value of the Bomb King going to really act as their demise here, potentially, as they do give the Inara away to, of course, the other side of things with Clown Fiesta, and that's been a big part of their win condition on Bright Marsh at previous lands. This time around, though, Bomb King seems to be the one making the swings right now, so I'm curious to see how it goes down, Evan.
Yeah, will he hit it out of the park, or will it be nice infielder?
Well, that's an interesting one right now, though. Look at this. We've got the missile barrage coming out of Coryell, not the aerial assault, which we sometimes see on this map, allowing you to traverse to high ground and maybe pressure out the Willow here. So I'm wondering if that rocket barrage will change.
I mean, you shouldn't. I don't think so. Personally, you're just going to see him, I think, use the mount hop if possible.
Yeah, it's great counter damage as well to be able to deal with this in-flank. You've got a lot of burst, 1,500 in those missiles if you hit all of them. Well, look at this. K-Cruncy straight to the backline, over there as well. And Lubka taking a very peripheral position right now, looking to land some direct heals onto Ineffable, who's trying to get onto the objective, but Clown Fiesta have that locked down with their Inara, and they do get 45% already.
And Cruncy, he was getting really low. They were fighting Ineffable, but Excentra comes out on top with a double kill, and it is going to be Clown Fiesta with the triple kill from Excentra in Game 3. That's going to set them off to the races in a commanding lead, 1 point their way.
I don't know, man. They just took the low ground against the Willow. I've really not got much analysis to say here, apart from the fact that they sat down where Willow could free fire, and even though they look like they were going to have a really good pincer coming through with Ovum to force everybody into a specific position where they could be capitalized on, they forced them on a high ground, on which Willow is just sitting there going, well, I got dead zone, I got missile damage from
what I wanted.
My blast fire. I'm okay with this.
Thank you.
Sure, all right, I'll take it.
Yeah, it's like the friend comes to your birthday party, absolutely no idea what you actually want, just getting something on the way at the gas station. You're like, dude, I
love socks.
I've been trying to get some socks, dog. Like,
dude, I love socks. Good socks are a hard-earned commodity right now. Echoes there, able to pick up a couple of kills for Armada. Getting the sock on for themselves, and now Coryell as well, pressuring out Alex, so this will be a full-on retreat and reset from Clown Fiesta. I don't think that initial fight really went on long enough for them to have mid-round buys coming through, so they should be pretty static for the time being. Ineffable takes the high ground as well, and this is where I want to see the Bomb King for a lot of this game. Up on the high ground, controlling space, forcing out Willow, but Scout has been activated, and now comes the rush from Clown Fiesta.
Yeah, if things go your way so fast sometimes, it works in your favor. Sometimes it also feels like, was this a dream? Did this actually happen that well? You see a couple of kills here dropping. Minute and 17 seconds left. Armada trying to survive with 4 members now defending, but Bolka has the through time and space. 4 ultimates on the side of Clown Fiesta ready to go.
Big double swing there from Yomi as well. Does hit on through. Alex charging it up, looking for these direct lines where he can hit a couple of players at once. Ineffable tries to escape with safety. Not going to really find that. Caught out by a 977 swing from this Janos Luminary buffed Yomi Zin. And here we go. Here comes the seismic crash. Straight to the back line goes Alex. Finds one. K-Cruncy finds 2. Echo is about to go down as well, and that's a full-on team wipe.
I mean, this is just call the police, call the fire department. Someone's gone missing, and I just can't find them. It's the entire team of Armada. And Clown Fiesta happy with this result right now. 33 seconds left. Contest coming in late, as you mentioned, but Alex finding a kill on the Coryell is really going to help them keep the momentum in the push.
Ovum is alive still, though. You have the Immortal if they want to stall this one out and buy some time, and here it is. It's activated, but Alex is still staying alive. Everybody from Clown Fiesta now just disengages, resets, and can come back in again. Bolka finds Ovum. I think that's through time and space being used there as well. Coryell on the respawns is good. Echo is about to be taken down by the thread the needle by Alex, and this is just so much damage coming in from Clown Fiesta. Armada have no way of dealing with it.
And they're going to have to leave the payload because it's just too dangerous. 4 members down, only 1 remaining. And he was just respawning as we see the initial first blood here. And of course a follow-up triple kill coming through from Clown Fiesta's Excentra. But I think to me, Alex is the star of the show here on this Zen. He's been phenomenal over the last few games.
Very much so. And part of the problem that I'm seeing right now is the fact that due to the nature of the composition from Clown Fiesta, Armada aren't able to get solid focus down onto any single member. Alex goes in, he dips right back out again, healed up by Genos.
Yeah.
Inara goes in, you try and focus her down, she'll just wall off, and then pressure is put on you by the damage dealers of Clown Fiesta that draws your attention away from finishing a single kill. Really good cohesion so far, leaves Alex with a 6-0 and 3 slash line. Unbelievable also not having died so far this game, and this game could be over pretty much as quickly as it's begun, as it's 2 up for Clown Fiesta already, and Armada need to find a way back in.
And Kanga Esports are sitting there saying, oh yes, Clown Fiesta, please, because if they have a rematch, which it looks like may happen here if Clown Fiesta win, they will only have to win 1 more game as a result of the rule set. So we'll bring you more attention onto that if it happens. Still a lot of work to do for Clown Fiesta as Armada firing back onto Alex and forcing him into that spot.
Could be in a lot of trouble here. Coiril getting bombarded as well. K-Crunchy doing work on the objective with Willow, and Alex should be able to find a Lubka there. Down goes the support. 84% and rising for Clown Fiesta. Evan, it's looking like capture has come early.
I don't think this is going to go any other way than what all the viewers and all of us here in the booth, you and me, Vox, actually. It's pretty intimate. I'm not going to say it. I'm not.
You know, we got the.
I'm not mad at the intimate moments.
You got a bit of the British look going on there too, as well as the suspenders going more old-timey. We're kind of bringing it back a few years.
Yeah, you know, we're taking it back to the classics, and Clown Fiesta as well. I mean, these guys, unbelievable. You're talking about a guy who has been in World Championships, a LAN winner with a PPL team for years. Now being able to just take that wisdom, take that leadership, and apply it to Clown Fiesta, and so far it is done well enough to most likely move them through this round.
1 minute and 53 seconds left on the clock then, Evan. 3 ults up for Clown Fiesta, 90% on Scout as well for Cassie, and 68% and rising for Willow right now. Wow, 80% already. That's charging fast.
Yeah.
Armada don't have much in the tank. They've just used Dread Serpent, but they haven't found Alex off the back of that. Umbi finds Coiril here, and this is not going their way. Clown Fiesta might look to engage here. They got the seismic crash.
And that feels like a Dread Serpent that was meant for Alex, and they just did not collapse. Bolka finds the kill onto Ovim. Is this going to be the final flash of damage? Ineffable on the King's ways to roll away and hopefully stay near the payload, but it seems like Clown Fiesta are the only ones rolling with this victory. They're taking it home and moving on into the next round.
Umbi triple kill right at the end there on Nara, saying, all right, Ovim, you know what? Okay, you play a good Nara. I got you back. We'll run it back this way.
We'll run it back.
I'll show you how we do it in the realm. And with that is the elimination of Armada coming through. Clown Fiesta, as you mentioned, advancing through the bracket. It's Kanga's dream right now for them.
Absolutely, and you see the dejected faces and obviously extremely unhappy with their performance. It's the second time they've been here within a month. It's the second time they've gotten wins in games in the month, but it's actually the first time they've lost on Brightmarsh.
Tough gig for
Rough.
Armada. We'll see how they bounce back from that in maybe weeks to come in whatever comes next for online phases, folks. But wow, what a set to go through all the way to 3 games. I think that's one of the first ones we've had as well so far this LAN that's actually made the distance.
Yeah, only 2 sets down, but this one was much more exciting than the first one. Let's send it back to the desk to start talking about set 3 and, of course, wrap up how it finished today.
Clown Fiesta may not have been invited to the party during Game 1, but they were the life of the party in Games 2 and 3.
Yeah, they just looked so much better once they got these 3 DPS compositions online. They had the flexibility to move Alex onto the Xin with confidence, and I think that's just what they did. That's what they played around. They played around those DPS players, those carries that got him here. That was a style that's, you know, very, very popular among the top teams. G2 did a lot of it. Fnatic, of course, we know that is like their homegrown style that they love to run. We haven't seen a lot of it this tournament, though. It's really Clown Fiesta that have come out and said, you know what? We just play better with this style.
It worked really well for them here when you had, you can see the way that Alex is navigating this, but even Exentra on the Cassie, 12 streak going into that last point, I believe, just poking out of the windows, which has allowed Alex to also get into this type of positioning that he could, hitting from the sideline.
And I mean, how can you really argue with it? They were clearly playing around their point front lines in game, or lacking thereof, the playing around the point front lines in game number 1. Once they start playing around these DPS players, Alex 7-0 in game number 3, they just look so much better, so much stronger. And I have to agree, you know, on paper it just makes sense that how much can an Inara Terminus really influence the game necessarily? Like, they have to go there, and, you know, it's kind of a joke that, you know, Lazy will make about himself as saying, well, what can I really do? I just kind of sit there and get beat up on the point. But I like this style. I think, you're taking the matchup by the reins when you're saying we're going to run this 3 DPS. We're going to be aggressive. We're going to decide who dies and where they die.
And it shows when Armada bring pretty much the same exact composition as game number 1 with the change of the support, and your performance against them is completely different in game number 3, then that shows that it was a type of improvement that needed to be made on your end, and it was in your control to start, but had to figure something out.
And you've even seen teams that can control games via the front line, right? Look at Burrito, look at G2, right? Cuscutie and Dosups were unstoppable during the online split, but it's with those aggressive frontliners. It's with the Fernando Ruckus, Fernando and Nara, a lot of aggression shaping what the front line actually looks like. So I think just looking a little bit better today, Clown Fiesta seems to have figured out their issues of communication as well. They're smiling, they're talking with each other as well. They're not yelling at each other like they were on day 1.
So Willow, for the 3rd game in a row, did make an appearance here. Did you see anything different that you were liking a bit more this time, or is she, as far as these other teams, kind of still sitting in that place?
I'm still on the fence about Willow. I'm still on the fence about her.
I feel like there's a couple players have really capitalized. Everyone's still feeling her out a little bit. But as Clown Fiesta, with the way that they performed in this and moving on forward within the bracket, do you think that there has been enough of a change in them where they can carry this through?
I mean, we'll have to see. They have very difficult opponents coming up, and as we head over to the bracket here, we're seeing just who that is. It's my boys, my Kanka Esports, who have admittedly fallen on hard times. It's not going to be an easy matchup for either team, but I still have to give my favoritism to, of course, Kanka, not only in experience, but just near and dear to my heart.
Yeah. As long as they're in that place in your heart, then I doubt that we're really going to hear you speak against
G2 Space Station, though, man, this is heating up. This tournament's about to get really, really insane.
Because when you're in the top bracket, even when you have those really hot matches, you still in the back of your head know, okay, but whatever team loses, they could make their run through the lower bracket and then come back to it. Now when you're in the lower bracket and you have just matches like this, SSG versus G2, and you think, oh, wait, this is the end of the road for one of them at the end.
Those are 2 big names. Neither you want to see go home. On day number 2, G2 was knocked out of the Masters tournament in spring by Space Station Gaming, so this is a little bit of that salty run back, so to speak. Will it happen again? G2 looking much stronger than they were in the spring, I will say. I thought they looked good in the spring for sure, but now they have looked just like a completely different beast here in the summer, and that's one of the contenders. I'm a little bit surprised by the way they went down against Envy yesterday. I'm really, after watching that day 1 performance in the PPL finals, I thought G2 might have the legs to go the distance in this tournament.
If I'm not mistaken, I feel I saw on Twitter as well, someone saying they fell off in that match. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it sucks. They had to have that server remake after capturing the first point, and that is deflating, man. I feel for them. That is a terrible thing to have happen to you. And then not only to be up and get that payload, I feel like I wish we could have just let them capture that payload again. You know what I mean? Like, put them back where they were, so to speak, versus having to remake the entire game, and they have to eventually lose that point, go down 2-0, and then get 4-0'd when it's all said and done on that map.
Clown Fiesta, they have things to celebrate after their victory against Armada, so let's hear some of that celebration.
All right, well, let's talk to the winners of this last set. Great job. Clown Fiesta, obviously, Unbe, big story here, coming from Nodisfins here and kind of being a part of this team and seeing this tremendous run you guys are making. And Alex, who had probably one of the star-studded performances in Game 2 and Game 3 with Zen. How are you guys feeling about your upcoming match and how you've just done thus far here in this tournament?
Well, it started off really rough. We obviously lost 4-2. It's something we really needed right now to win, and to win 4-0 both second and third map really gave us a lot of confidence, and we also found what works for us better. It took a while to find it, but I think with this new mindset, we're gonna do better and beat Kanga next, hopefully.
So yeah, talk to me about that mindset change, actually, both of you, because between the first and second games, obviously, as you said, taking a 4-2 loss in the first one, something had to change around, and we saw a lot of changes in the draft, but also you guys started playing in a very different way. Was that all just behind the scenes mindset? Was there something else going on there as well?
Well, we knew it was it. Like, it's gonna be the last map if you don't lose, if you don't win, I mean. And I just took a deep breath. I didn't let the loss annoy me too much. Talked to the team. We all talked, and we just remember that, it's, let's pretend like we're online, in our comfort zone. We're playing at home, and that's when they actually like qualified and played the best. And obviously, since I'm a sub, it's different now. I don't have the synergy that they do together, and I guess we finally like broke out of that shell and started performing.
So let's talk a little bit about Alex and just how are you feeling? This is a new experience for you here.
Yeah, it's my first time. We all feel kind of nervous, and after the first game, we had to try something new. So it was our last chance, and we had to try something new.
And so, are you excited for what's to come with Kanga? Are you still nervous? A little bit of both heading into this next match?
Yeah, I'm still kind of nervous, but we're looking forward for the games, and hopefully we can get our revenge.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to that matchup coming up soon here in the PPL Summer Finals. We'll take it to a break, and we'll see you all very soon.